In the meantime, I'm Melissa McKay. I'm a developer advocate with JFrog, and I have the pleasure of moderating this session today. I also have the pleasure of being here with two incredible professionals, each of them with their own specialty, one to provide us with laughing and the other with some learning. First, we have Yoav Landman. He is our JFrog CTO and co-founder. He's going to discuss some serious topics that development teams face today and how JFrog can help us out. And then we also have with us today, Don McMillan. He's a tech comedian and a former engineer. So it's an interesting mix today. You might recognize him from his appearance last year on season 17 of America's Got Talent. I did catch you on that show, Don, so that was pretty cool. He'll be giving us
Did you vote for me, though? Did you vote for me?
I did.
Oh, good.
Don will be giving us some comic relief today. We have planned a packed 45 minutes for you. So let's go ahead and get started. Our agenda, we're first going to start with New Year trends and resolutions. That's a short presentation by Yoav. He's going to be discussing this coming year in the world of JFrog, what our plans are and some predictions. Then we'll have a little short stand-up break, give you some time to loosen up and relax. Then we'll be back with a Q&A session. That'll be the heaviest part of this session. That's going to be between Yoav and I. We have a lot of questions that have come in during registration. We'll address as many of those as we can in the minutes that we have available. If you have questions live while Yoav is speaking or something comes to mind, feel free to put it in the Q&A section in that feature that's at the bottom of your screen. We will get to as many of those as we can live as well. If we can't get to your question, we will reach out to you after this session and make sure that it gets addressed for you. Above all, remember this event is for you, both to enjoy yourself and to get answers to some of your questions that are most important to you. How do you laugh when we get to the comic session? Feel free to engage in the chat, make comments, post emojis. Just have some fun. So without further ado, I welcome Yoav to share with us some trends and resolutions for 2023.
Okay, thanks, Melissa. And let's start with some resolutions. So the first one is about this vision that JFrog has about liquid software flowing and updates flowing all the way to the device, to the runtime, like liquid. And I think that this year it will make a big leap. And the reason for that is that we reached the stage where we managed to bake in security and trust as part of the release lifecycle. The original JFrog slogan a few years ago was release fast or die. The reason for that was that everyone was obsessed with time to market and getting there with faster releases. And then came reality, mostly around security and software supply chain trust, and started to slow things down. So people got with events like Log4j and SolarWinds, everyone knows about it. The need to inject trust into the software supply chain, into the automation, became much real than ever before. And I think that this year is the year when we see speed coming back again, because we reached the level of maturity where trust is baked in back into software supply chain with tools that matured over time. The other implication of that is that software maintenance is actually dead. We all know about this concept of sustained engineering. This is a thing of the past. And unless you're developing some or keeping alive some dying software that is being phased out and replaced by something else, your software today is a live organism. Keeps evolving, it keeps updating, keeps being refactored. So we need to think about software this way. The other resolution that I would like to share with you is about the fact that everyone will control the software supply chain. And when we talk about this control, we are talking about two control circles. One is outside the perimeter. So when you want to consume software, whether it's third party or even second party, like things that your peers in other departments develop, you need to control it outside the perimeter. You need to block something that you don't want to get into the organization. And once it's already in, you need to gain control over again, because the state of the universe is not static. So something that was perfectly legit a few days ago may start to have security or quality issues, and then you have to keep controlling it, keep monitoring it. So this is the inner perimeter that you have to apply control in. Normally we speak about security as the measurement for control, but security is not the only quality that you need to be concerned about. These are some non-exhaustive examples of things you may care about, and there are plenty of other examples. So age, maybe you don't want to consume a release that it's too young. Maybe you don't want to be the one who tests for the world the next color.js or faker.js. So maybe you say, okay, I want something to be at least 2 weeks old before I can allow it into my organization. License is a common example. Everyone knows about it. Quality, things like maybe I have even internal one that has a memory leak, and then I have to bounce my servers every couple of days. And I found out about this, and now I want to eradicate completely the usage of this bad version in my organization. Maybe it's a competitor component, and maybe I don't look good if I use it and bundle it as part of my software. So there are plenty of reasons why you would want to control your software, and plenty of other aspects aside from security, but they all kind of relate to the same model. And I think we'll talk about this a bit later. The next resolution is about the fact that anything that is not on the automation line will just fall aside. So the thing is that security, when we speak about DevOps, the DevSecOps is given. It needs to be baked in. Otherwise, it's very hard to control. So you can have tools that are outside the process, and many CISOs, they are using tools today. So and I don't think they will go away. The tools have their place because it's the inherent need to test things, even if you don't control them, so that you will have the ability to look from the sidelines and get your security report. But the thing is, it's much cheaper and makes more sense to control it as part of the automation. And we're actually seeing this new approach applied by even mega customers of JFrog, where the CISOs or the new generation of CISOs, they understand they need to work with the DevOps. They need to collaborate in order to inject control into the automation and work together. So this is a new trend we're seeing, and we're seeing really a new generation of CISOs that are still doing the old way, inspecting from the side, but also integrating fully into the automation. Another aspect of this is that there are plenty of tools, plenty of niche tools. Some of them are pretty good at what they're doing, but at the end of the day, they emit a lot of information, and this information may also not be consistent with one another. And then you have to script through and build your view of security, and that's pretty hard to do. There are even tools in the market that allow you to do that, but it's not natural. And I think many of those tools will be blended or completely disappear. Another resolution that I think is also related to that is that shift left and shift right security, they have to align, okay? So the reason is that as a developer, you don't want to get pulled over. It's like drivers that don't like police officers. I don't think any developer likes security, but it's inherent to the workflow that you have to respect the security rules. You have to respect the contract, and the contract needs to be constant. So if you are using different tools, or maybe even tools from the same vendor on the left and on the right, and you apply different tools, then you create a lot of waste. So we need to apply the same policies, at least whenever it's possible. Not all the checks are possible to apply in the left and in the right with full parallelism, but at least in theory, at least as much as you can, well, in practice actually, you have to apply for the same rules so that you wouldn't be surprised, you wouldn't be pulled over just before you go to staging or worse to production, because it's a waste of time. It's a costly fix. So this is this needs to align. And another side aspect of it is that there is a strong trend in the market today to say, before it was just give me full report and show me as much information as you can because I don't want to miss anything. And I'm going to combine 4 different tools that will show me all the different CVs that possibly my software has, and then I'm going to launch people at doing the deep investigation. No, this direction is actually reversing to less noise as a virtue rather than very large reporting. It's all about practicality, and JFrog is also following this trend by developing automation tools that allow you to reduce the noise and focus on the things that are actually impacting your software in a practical way and really need to be fixed. So that's another trend there. And finally, this is my final resolution, is that artifact repositories will become much more than just a binary store. So today, when we speak about artifact repositories, we speak about them as a place to push artifacts to, resolve packages from, and so on. But at the end of the day, what we need to do is we need also to record evidences about every step in the software supply chain. This is part of the SALSA model, and the reasoning behind it is that we want to have attestations and evidences and testimonies about everything that's relating to the software that we're creating, and the binaries are the base for this evidence. So the only thing that's going to end up in your runtime are your binaries. This is like 70% or more of the software supply chain. This is where actually even on the left you start with including a binary as a dependency before the first line of code, and you have to add evidences to those binaries, and those evidence they allow you to do things such as recalling bad software, because you have the visibility for the full software supply chain. And really, those evidences are S-bombs, so normally we call them S-bombs, and they need to sit together with your artifacts. So I think we're going to see repositories shifting into a dual role of also serving as your database, not just for binaries, but also for the trust that accompanies those binaries as part of what will happen this year. I think we're also starting to see the buds of this trend starting to appear. So these are my resolutions, and I'm going to let Melissa take it over from here. Thanks.
This is heavy information. Thank you, Yoav. I was taking notes while you were talking because I do have a very long developer background, and there were a few things that you mentioned that I really resonated with me. One is there are other concerns besides security. Thank you for pointing that out. Less noise, give me more quality analysis. This is super important for developers since we are not security experts. We need a lot of that help and assistance. And then, yeah, the provenance of artifacts, figuring out where things came from, where they're going, what's been deployed, what needs replaced, all of that is wonderful information. All of you here, if you have questions about what Yoav just spoke about, please put them in the Q&A and we will get to them. In the meantime, Don, you have some competition in the chat. We have a running roll of jokes happening.
Yeah, I've been watching that.
It's been great.
The comedy already started.
Yes, I'm going to turn the stage over to you for our first short bit of comedy here. Excited to see that. Thanks, Don.
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Yoav. Thank you for not being too funny, too. I appreciate that. Yoav didn't get a lot of laughs, which see, he's the learn part. I'm the laugh part. And he did. If anybody's taking notes, please stop right now. For the next 5 or 6 minutes, you won't have to take any notes. And by the way, everybody who's writing those jokes in, that yeah, I don't think you need me. I think the JFrog users are funnier than me. So I'm out of here. You just put the chat. No. Anyway, it is great to be here. I was on America's Got Talent. I was in the finals, but right here, JFrog Laugh and Learn. This is the one that, if they offered this as the big prize, I might have won, but it was just $1 million. Who cares about that? This is the gig everybody won. Jay Leno wanted it. I got it. I got the gig. So why am I here? Well, first of all, when you think DevSecOps, you immediately think comedy. I know I do. I don't know about you. You must laugh constantly at your jobs. Nothing funnier than DevOps and especially security and DevOps. Oh, that's a killer combination right there. Very funny. The second reason I'm here is that I actually am the only comic who agreed to develop all of my jokes today on the JFrog platform. If you think I'm kidding, by the way, I work in PowerPoint if you don't know my act. But I actually, my background, we'll get into that later, but yeah, this is the JFrog DevOps platform. You go, what? How is this going to work for me in comedy? Well, we have developed with the JFrog developers, the JFrog's comedy DevOps platform. And it's so incredible to me that it translates so well. Like we have the joke repository, that's where all my jokes sit. And then we have the joke teller, and I'm mission control. We have the joke insight. I'm analyzing all my jokes real time. You talk about liquid software. This is liquid comedy right here. This is liquid comedy. With the Artifactory, all my comedy bits, get it, bits, are stored in the Artifactory. Get comedy bits. See what I'm doing there? Okay. We have a JFrog X-ray. So I actually, I have a bad joke check. If any sneak by, I don't think it's going to happen. A distribution, of course, that's what's happening right now. The connect, so we can connect all about this. And then finally, pipeline. So I'm continuously updating my software. As we said, take your liquid software, have a shot. Oh, that is some good update right there. So that's how I develop my jokes. And I always like to want to do these shows because people always goes, how can an engineer be funny? He's not really an engineer. No, I was really an engineer. And here's my badge photo. I worked in Silicon Valley at a startup company. I was employee number 36. I didn't share this earlier. Employee number 36. I worked there for 8 years, 70 hours a week, sold all my stock options when I left, and basically bought a big gulp at 7-Eleven. That's how well I did. That's how well I did at my startup company. Not a great deal. So I became a comedian instead. But I am a nerd. Just look at that photo. Look at that photo. My pants, how much a nerd I am. My pants stop right at the bottom of that photo. Right there. That's where my pants stop. I was tucking my nipples in. That's not a good look. That's a nerdy person right there. And I like nerd, by the way. I like nerd. I don't like geek. I prefer nerd to geek. And what's the difference between a nerd and a geek, you ask? Well, I have a Venn diagram to show you. I'm one of the few comics. This is where I think I lost Simon Cowell. He didn't not get me. He went, oh, I didn't get it. I think when he saw the Venn diagram, he went, why are there balls on the screen? Why is he going to juggle? I don't think he got Venn diagrams. I really don't. But it takes 3 things to be a nerd. You have to be smart, socially awkward, and obsessed. Smart, socially awkward, obsessed, and you're a nerd. Geeks, on the other hand, are just smart and obsessed. It's like Star Trek geeks, comic book geeks. They get dressed up. They go to conferences. No nerd goes to a conference unless I'm working like IT support. That's the only reason I'm there. That's it. If I'm not hanging out with humans unless you're paying me. That's my rule. I'm a nerd. What can I say? If you're smart and socially awkward, you're a dork. And we have all spent time in the dork regions. I know. My high school years were the dork ages. That's what they were. And if you're socially awkward and obsessed, there on the right, you're a stalker. See that? See how that? Yes. See, I like to watch people try to figure out where they are on my chart. They're like, ooh, I might be a dork stalker. That's not good. So you're probably asking yourself, what am I, Don? Am I a geek? I'm a nerd. I'm a big nerd. And you can really tell by the way you live your life, right? The products you choose, for example, when it comes to phones, I think iPhone people are geeks. Yeah. They hang out, they socialize, they go camp out at an Apple store. When no nerd camps out at an Apple store. I'll make my own superior phone, okay? I'm not camping out. Forget that. Nerds, we love the Android, right? We get in there, we change themes, we redo the code, we pop the back, void the warranty, and claim we have no idea how it happened. I didn't do it. No, I don't know what you're talking about. And then really big nerds have several of both all in their belt. Yeah. We think we're Batman, right? We got it all. When it comes to fitness, again, geeks, Apple products. So the Apple Watch. Nerds, the Fitbit, and big nerds. There's no fitness for big nerds. Come on, fitness. Who needs fitness? What are you talking? My fingers work. I'm fine. Business wear. When it comes to business wear, geeks actually try to look cool. They dress cool. There's a thing called geek chic, right? They got the hat and the sweater and pants. Nerds don't care about that. We care about one thing, functionality, which is why I love cargo pants. Oh, I love cargo pants. I got to have storage even in my pants. I need a repository in my pants. I need many repositories in my pants. And big nerds, by the way, cargo shorts. They don't even need the bottom. What's the point? There's no point. And my wife, my poor wife, she sees me in cargo pants constantly and she's mortified. She says, can you just dress up? I go, no, cargo pants are superior. Okay. I did a cargo pant analysis to prove to her why cargo pants are superior. That's a regular pair of pants. Okay. That much is functional. That much totally useless. There's nothing happening. Just a waste of space. That right there, that is a great pair of pants. Look at that. Top to bottom. Top to bottom. There's JFrog's coming out with it. JFrog cargo pants. I'm announcing it right now. We're launching it. Yeah. But it's so great. Look, talk about backup capability. You can keep an extra pair of pants in a pocket of your pants. Redundancy doesn't get better than that. Come on, we love that. Who do we look up to? Okay, well, first of all, geeks are into comic books, right? So who the female icon? Who do the females look up to? Geeks. Wonder Woman. She is the geek female icon. Nerds, it's all about smart, so it's going to be Ada Lovelace, right? First programmer. Come on, she's hot. Come on, she's hot if you're a nerd. And big nerds, Alexa. Come on, you gotta love Alexa. I'm in love. I want to marry Alexa. She answers all of my questions and never asks me any. That's it. That's it. I love Alexa. I love her. And then we got to do men. We got to be fair. Geeks, Star Trek. Geeks love Star Trek. So Captain Kirk was the first geek sex symbol. He really, truly was. Nerds, I don't know why, but apparently me. Don't ask me. I can't explain it. Makes no sense to me, but it is. And then big nerds, I've met the man. This cannot be argued. It's got to be Yoav. Got to be Yoav. You are the hot big nerd out there. So I hope you accept the title. I've just given it to you. And with that, I'm going to throw it back to you, Melissa. I'm going to come back with more comedy later. Hang out. I'll be developing some liquid comedy on the fly, updating my jokes. It'll be funny, I promise. We'll see you in a little bit.
No.
Oh, for registrations. Sorry, I think I was
Melissa,
on
I think you were muted. Yeah.
Thank you, Don, for that. Let's get some questions started for Yoav. We have a little bit of time here, so let's go through the questions that have come in on registration. And while Don was speaking, there was a question that came in that I wanted to start off right away with. And it is, it was submitted by Doug Smith from Enterprise Products. It is easy to see how a software development company can gain advantages by utilizing Artifactory to deliver binaries to customers. But what are some of the benefits that non-software companies could gain from JFrog with internally developed applications?
This is a tricky question because I want to answer back. Is there any company today which is not a software company?
Right. We have the jokes Don McMillan was using.
No, it's a serious answer. I think software makes a big part of the value of many companies today. So unless you're not developing any software, then of course you wouldn't need a solution to manage your releases. But I think if you look all across, most companies today became software companies. This was actually a JFrog prediction that Shlomi, our CEO, made a few years back, and I think it's reality now. So there you go.
Yeah, totally agree with that answer. Not all of us are coding, but we all have the advantages that we can use for our internal applications that we're using as well. Doesn't mean we're selling them, but we can use them internally. Totally makes sense. All right, let's see. Another one that came in, this is a little bit more specific to something that happened with JFrog. It has to do with an acquisition. This question came from Peter Whelan. When will the Vdoo acquisition make its way into the product? I think this is a great question and a good chance to explain who Vdoo is and what that was all about.
Sure. So Vdoo is a software company that JFrog acquired around something like 18 months ago, around this time frame. And they are a security company. So they have established security researches, and they have they brought to JFrog the IP of technologies that allow JFrog to come up with scanners that are baked into your automation and are bringing value that is pretty advanced compared to what the market has today. Some of the things that and the question was when? It was already implemented as part of Extra and as part of JFrog Advanced Security. So with JFrog Advanced Security, we brought to the market features that you can actually try today, like a contextual scanning. So basically knowing whether a vulnerability really impacts your software by looking at the execution path. And we do this uniquely on the binary stuff. rather than just in source. We have sticker detection, again, on the binary, and we will introduce the same thing for source code. What else? Terraform scanning, misconfiguration scanning. So if you have a Docker image that has some misconfiguration on it, we will also find out. So it's already baked in. We have some pretty exciting technologies in our arsenal. And you can also see in our blog the researches that the research team of XVido and our JFrog Security are publishing around mainly open source components that are vulnerable and industry-wide impacting security issues. So that's the state today.
Awesome. This you kind of touched on this already, but there was a question that came in by Ray Rodriguez. Is there a product update in the SCA space? That's the software composition analysis space. And I believe you touched on this already, but let's highlight it one more time because this is really important for this year.
Yeah, so definitely, and not everything I can cover, but when we speak about scanning binaries, the thing about binaries are what's going to end up running in your runtime. So the need to actually, and this is also what attackers are targeting. So they really want to either exploit something and attack your binary, or just really get into your binary as part of the software supply chain. So I mentioned some of the advanced features of JFrog Advanced Security, and I think that the common line for these scanners is that less is more. So we are giving you less noise, better accurate results, and sometimes we even identify issues that are getting call from NIST or from NVD. And in practice, for your specific scenario, Extra and JFrog Advanced Security will report the real impact. Maybe it has no impact at all. They will show you exactly what the impact is, explain why it's not impactful, or maybe it is. And then in many cases, we'll also suggest on the fix to apply to fix it.
Excellent. Yeah, you spoke a lot about that in the first part of your presentation too, about how we need to focus more on quality reporting. It's overwhelming, right, to see a bunch of vulnerabilities that need to be addressed, but you don't know how serious they are or how impactful they really are. So yeah, this is the year to get going on that and give us more tools to help us get through that mess.
For sure.
All right, let's see, what else do we have in here? Okay, there's a couple of questions here. I'm going to combine them a little bit. And it really has to do with organizations and how they prioritize stuff like this, making sure that security is addressed in our products, and how to recommend persuading those that need to be persuaded that something like Artifactory or JFrog Advanced Security is something that is needed. This question came in from James Altz. And it asks, what is your best recommendation on persuasion for CIOs and cyber teams to promote Artifactory as a solution for package management and reducing software supply chain risk?
Yeah, so I think the main focus should be the return on investment. So the ROI on implementing cybersecurity automation as part of your automation. I touched on this part before with regards to automation. I can give a few examples. So the first one would be software curation. In many organizations, and some of them are all-time JFrog customers even, the curation of a new piece of software or dependency into the organization can be very manual. And this is a very wasteful process that involves legal and possibly some other reviewer. Well, most of the checks can be fully automated. They can be applied almost with no human touch. So there's a lot of man hours being put to waste on approving software. Some of this is also sometimes it's a transit. the dependencies of your dependencies also have to be approved. And then you may get the approval stamp for one dependency, and then it's not enough because you need a bunch of graphs of dependencies hanging out from there. So this is one example. The other example is what I described before. You apply many different tools, and then you get a lot of noise, and somebody has to sift through and fix things that maybe shouldn't even be fixed. So the only way to back in this security and DevOps practices is to really make them part of automation, and that's going to increase your ROI and mainly save you a lot of time and also save you quality issues further down the road. So I think this is the main vehicle to persuade you.
So there was one question that came in. I know there's several different types of products that JFrog offers, different subscription levels. One question that came in from Chandra Sakar. What is the recommended onboarding of customers from JFrog Open Source to JFrog Cloud Enterprise? And this gentleman is a solutions architect. So from that perspective, what would your advice be?
Yeah, so that's a very good question. I think it really depends on your needs. So you may get, and by the way, JFrog also has a free trial in the cloud, so it may be sufficient for your needs, depending on the amount of traffic and the amount of artifacts you want to manage. But then when you need to introduce either more projects in your organization, or you need to apply more advanced security scanners, or maybe your team just gets larger, then the transition is actually super smooth. I mean, it's exactly the same product. If you are in on-prem with open source, and this is a very common scenario that we're seeing in JFrog, is we have tools to migrate you to the cloud, and those tools are open, and we can also help you. And yeah, we've done some pretty significant migrations to the cloud using those tools for our enterprise customers, and they of course work for smaller customers and smaller companies. So it's to summarize, it's a pretty smooth migration. It's almost transparent.
Awesome. Anything we can do to help folks make their lives easier. This is good stuff. All right. This is a pretty specific question, but I think it'll give us an opportunity to talk about, some specific stuff that some capabilities that Artifactory has. This question came in from Hermant. In my CI/CD, I am using Scopio to copy an image from a non-prod JFrog Docker registry to the prod Docker registry. And I want to use JFrog CLI to replace Scopio. Is that possible? And for those that may not be familiar, Scopio is a way to push and pull images from Artifactory. You want to take that one, Don?
Yeah, yes, you can.
Go for it.
Next question. Yeah, you can. It was a yes or no question. Yes, go ahead. Maybe we should go to Yoav. Yoav, you take this one.
Maybe I'll expand just a little bit on, if you're okay with it. So yes, you can. First of all,
I was right.
Yeah, this is correct. But to be more serious, first of all, I don't remember from the top of my head if the CLI has this option as a flag. I think it does, but we will get back to you. But there is a very long time API for, it's called the Docker promotion. And what it does is exactly that. It promotes a full container with all the links from one repository to another. So I think with Scopio, what happens is that you pull things to your desktop or whatever, to your client, and then you push them back in. This is all happening server side. The other big benefit is that you, as part of the promotion, you can apply security check. So your extra policies may prohibit the promotion if for some reason there are big policy rules on the target repository. So you get, you kind of kill two birds with one stone. One is you do it all server side, it's super fast and it's atomic. Second is you get all your security checks baked in as part of the operation.
Excellent. Yes, we do have documentation on the JFrog CLI. I'm just for fun, I'm going to throw that into the chat for everyone. All right, I think we have time for one more. This is a good one. It came in from a gentleman named Benjamin. And I'm going to throw this one to you, Don, since you're itching to answer questions.
I'm ready.
What's the most counterintuitive thing that you've learned?
Okay, this is a pet peeve of mine for a long time, but the Q-tip, okay? It says on the box, do not put in your ear. I'm telling you right now, you can put it in your ear, okay? I'm going out on a limb. The Q-tip was made for your ear. How can they say on the box, don't put it in your ear? It's wrong. It's counterintuitive, but it's correct. So there you go. See, I'm useful to this company.
For that answer. Yes. All right, Yoav, maybe in the context of DevOps, what is the most counterintuitive thing you've learned?
You didn't tell me that.
Let me think. Maybe it would be maybe the speed of which I'm always surprised by the speed that organizations are willing to let go in-house developments. Because my natural instinct is probably if you develop something, and this is like a pattern in JFrog, where many times what we are doing is we are looking at what customers are doing, and we're trying to improve and productize. And then when we bring it, sometimes you would feel that you would get an objection because maybe it's the job security of somebody. But I'm always surprised by how receptive customers are when not always you hit the nail on its head, but when you do, I'm always surprised by the ease of willing to let go the homegrown solution.
Nice.
Not as funny as Don, but this is.
But much more useful. Much more useful.
Yes. Thank you so much for your time, Yoav. We are out of time for questions, but we have some more time for some comedy. So I'm going to give the stage back to Don McMillan, and let's have some fun with this.
Thank you, Melissa. I had a couple of thoughts during Yoav's. I learned a lot. I believe it or not, I understand this stuff. I really do, and I want to be up to date. So I've actually instituted in my comedy the new thing everybody's talking about apparently, which is shift left and then shift right. I can do it in my comedy. It can do either. The other thing I invented just now was the binary high five. Okay, that's just for you guys. Since we talk binaries, it's 1, 0, 1. It's a binary high five. You can give, when you get a program that goes well, just give somebody the binary high five. Just look at them and go 1, 0, 1. That's it. The binary high. That's just for you guys. Okay, so let's get back to this. I wanted to celebrate what you folks do in DevOps, because DevOps and DevOps security it's something they take for granted, but it's so important. And thank you for being there and doing your job. So I just parked my slide. Sorry, I got to bring that back up. There we go. I want to talk about how do you know you're in DevOps? This is a little salute to DevOps. I fixed that. There we go. So how do you know? You know you're in DevOps when you don't know your son's age, but you know he was born 3 versions of Windows ago. Right? Exactly. I have an XP child and a Windows 7 kid. So glad we didn't have a Vista kid. Would not have been stable. Could not have been stable. You know you're in DevOps if on forms you give your home address as 127.0.0.1. Get it? Okay. You know you're in DevOps if your last relationship ended because you believe in open source and your partner didn't. How can you? You can't have a life. How would you raise the children? That's such a good point. You know you're in DevOps if you think dating, and I thought about this one, you think dating is like buying a computer. You look for performance, features, compatibility, and most of all, no viruses. It's just like dating. Come on, it's just like dating. And then finally, you love charts. You love charts. And I collect charts all the time. And I wanted to put this one up for you because security is such a big thing. Well, there's several career paths you could choose when you're in security. My sister happens to be a forensic analyst. She wants to be a security specialist someday. So here's path 1 she's looking at, okay? She's a forensic analyst. She hopes to be a forensic lab director someday, chief security official, and eventually highly paid security consultant, make the big bucks. She figures that'll take 20 years. Then she's considering path 2, just as viable, by the way. Path 2, hacker, criminal convict, highly paid security consultant. Yes, that'll only take her 2 years. 2 years, 14 months with good behavior. Not bad. Take your choice. Okay. I want to do a little salute to engineers there. If people think engineers, we don't have emotions, but we do. We get excited about something. So I came up with a set of emojis just for its engineers. So that one right there, that one is happy. That's a happy engineer. See that? Trust me, that's a happy. That is a sad engineer. You have to look very carefully. Look, yeah. Okay. That one's mad, amused, love. I think you're seeing a trend. Confused, disgust, surprised, joy. And see that one right there? See that one? That one is the project is finished. Oh, that is the best day. That is okay. People ask me all the time. Number one question I get: how does somebody go from engineer to comedian? So I'm going to explain it using Venn diagrams because it's the perfect way to explain it, and you'll see. I'm into math. I'm in high school. I'm into math. And I'm good at problem solving. So when you're good at those two things, nobody says go be a comedian. They would be fired. So they said go be an engineer. So I got my engineering degree, and I was a good engineer. Makes perfect sense. If you're good with people, right? You have people skills and you're good at problem solving, you get your MBA, right? Go into management. Makes sense. Over here, this is where it gets complicated. If you have OCD, right? Everything has to be exactly right. And you have math skills. You're an accountant. You should be an accountant. You can't solve any problems, but you can identify them. That's what accountants do. They do. They look right at you and go, this is not adding up. I am so glad I am not you. Nah, no help, no help. Over here, if you're into drinking and you have people skills, well, join our sales force, young man. Come on in. You're going to love it here. Yes. Salespeople love that joke. If you're heartless and you have OCD, you're in human resources. I'm kidding, HR people. I'm kidding. That's a joke. And if you're heartless and into drinking, you're a lawyer. See, and if you're all those things, you're a comedian, which is how I got here today. So there you go. There you go. Finally, I'm going to leave you with this bit. Hopefully you're laughing today. That's why I'm here. I'm the laugh part of the laugh and learn, clearly. But how can I inject some comedy? Because it's so good to laugh. How can I inject some comedy in your future so you laugh next week, next month? I came up with this idea for JFrog, and I'm calling it JFrog TRC for JFrog time release comedy. And what I've done is I've attached jokes to some of the words you might use in your jobs. So next time you hear that word, you'll think of my joke and you'll go, like next week, you'll be talking and you'll share the joke and it's a little time. Okay, that's how this works. So here we go. Enterprise server, that is a waiter on Star Trek. See that? Get it? Okay, that's how this bit works. So it's not complicated. Virtual server, that's a waiter you never see. I've had many of those. Bad virtual servers, not good. JFrog. When I think JFrog, I think the frog after the iFrog and before the KFrog. Yes. KFrog, by the way, one of my favorite FM stations. Hey, listen to KFrog. Microsoft Outlook. Partly cloudy, 80% chance of a virus. Get it? By the way, Microsoft Outlook, they thought software maintenance has been dead for years. I don't know if you knew that. Okay. POP3. Your mom's third husband. Yeah, get it? Yes. Solution architect. I know we have these in the crowd. And to me, my favorite kind of solution architect, another name for a bartender. That is a solution architect right there. What would you like in a drink? See. Voice over IP, been around forever, by the way, but they don't say VoIP. They say voice over IP, which to me sounds like talking on the cell phone while in the bathroom. Yeah, that's voice over IP. Get it? Voice over IP. That's what they're doing. I think that's what Bluetooth headsets just talk. Yeah, Bob. Yeah, let's have a conference call. No, you're in the bathroom. Get off your phone. ASCII. That is what you use to start your donkey. Yeah, ASCII. Get it? Oh, that's an old term. So I'll go C++. That's the highest grade ever received by an IT student in a writing class. Yes. And then finally, my last joke, big data. I don't know if you knew this, but that's Yoav's rapper name. Did you know that? He's a rapper. He is a rapper now. Awesome. You should hear him rap. He's really good. And with that, I'm going to wrap it up. Throw it back to you, Melissa. I hope everybody had a great time. Thank you for having me. Back to you.
Thank you, Don. I'm going to throw up a poll really quick for everyone. We had a lot of discussions about JFrog security solutions today. If you would like to know more about this, please go ahead and respond to this poll. Thank you, Yoav, for all of your expertise, your answers to the questions. Thank you, Don, for your humor, your skills as a comedian. We really appreciate your time here today. Everyone, thank you all for attending. I hope that you had fun, that you enjoyed this session, and I hope to see you again next time.
Bye.
Bye.